This episode associates with our operational mistake in a startup of fire heater. To better understand the problem and our mistake during last projects and startups, let's have a look at the piano ID here and see the problem. Let me zoom in here. Here we have natural gas. Here the piano ID belongs to the fuel system of the fire heater, and here we use two types of fuels for as the fuel of fire heaters. Here we can use natural gas as the fuel, or here we can use the purge gas as the fuel of the fire heaters for burners. Here natural gas, during a startup we don't have any amount of price, so we are supposed to use just natural gas as the main source, as the only source of the fuel for fire heaters. So natural gas come through these lines, and at first we play with the a small control valve, and it passes through these linings, these pipes, and after passing through this mixer, it passes through these pressure transmitters, and finally it goes to the burners to be mixed with air, with preheated combustion air, and finally combustion happens and it can provide the heat to the fire heaters. Unfortunately, this mistake was done by one of my coworkers, and we saw really the impact. Let's focus on the mistake here. If you look at this control valves, we have two control valves. Let's call them small control valves and big valve here. He at that moment wanted to change the load from this small control valve because it was at approximately full opening, and he wanted to change the load from this small control valve to big control valve. Unfortunately, at that moment, he made a mistake and he opened the control valve more than expected, more than he should do. And suddenly, the pressure here changed from 0.1 to 0.4 bar gauge. And we suddenly, after 20 seconds, saw that the draft pressure got out of range, and the fire heater went into a state of shutdown. You might ask this question: what is the relationship between the increase in pressure and the draft pressure? You're right about this one. That's a good question. To better understand how it impacts the draft pressure and how it led to the shutdown of the fire heaters, let's have a look at another uh, section of the piano ID. Here is the flue gas passing through the flue gas duct. It passes in these directions, and then via the induced fan, it goes to the stack and then vented to the atmosphere, which is a normal practice for all fire heaters. When when the pressure of the natural gas changed from 0.1 to 0.4 bar gauge, the flow rate of the natural gas to the burners increased dramatically, and as a result, the combustions and the combustion temperature increased abruptly. It means that the temperature of the flue gas changed abruptly. It also means that the density of the flue gas changes as a result. And when the density changes, the volumetric flow rate passing through the flue gas duct changes. And since this ID fan or induced fan was controlled by automatic pressure controller, automatic draft pressure controller, this controller was not able to cope with the situations, was not able to tackle the problem, and as a result, the draft pressure got out of range. At that moment, we understood and sensed and felt the major impacts of the fueling systems on the draft pressure. Again, two times later we had such occurrence for another two times. But at those times, we had the experience and of course for other shifts in control room they got our experience and they were able to tackle the problems before the trip of the fire hitters. So learn our mistake, learn from our mistake. Don't make such similar mistake in your future career. I hope that this session would work to the advantage of your career. Have a good day.